welcome to Ask Ron. Today I want to answer a really good question that I was asked on the Daily Pump Picks thread on the Noble Forum, musculardevelopment.com by a guy named Joe Yarkunis. What's up, Joe? He said, you've been fortunate enough to train with three Mr. Olympias, and it was only one workout. So obviously, I wasn't their training partner or anything. So I did legs with Ronnie Coleman back in 2005. I did legs again with Dorian Yates in England in 2011 or 2010, and I believe 2011 was when I was able to do a back workout with Jay Cutler. So his question is, if you're in your prime, which one of those three Mr. Olympias would you really want to be a training partner of? That was a good question. First, let me define my prime, what I believe it was, which was probably between the ages of 30 and 35 was my physical prime, no doubt. And I'm not saying my physique was definitely the best then, although it probably was. But in terms of my body's strength, stamina, I didn't have a lot of injuries yet. My shoulder wasn't an issue. That's when I was at my strongest. That's when I would have been a viable training partner for any top pro, I believe, at that time. Because I was really strong, I was really motivated. I would have been a great training partner. Who would I want to train with? And that's something I had to think about for a minute. So I'll go through them one by one and what their training styles were like and how I kind of either meshed with those or didn't. So first of all was Ronnie. So Ronnie was doing legs, and legs have always been a strong point for me, something I've always loved to train, probably because if I put the work in, they always responded. We all like to spend our time on things that are going to give us something in return, right? So when I've trained legs hard and heavy all my life, they always grew. Other areas like my arms didn't see that reward, didn't see much in the way back on that. So legs were my thing. It was at Metroflex Gym in Arlington, Texas. It was with a group of people, but I think there were about 5 of us in our little group. So there was a lot of rest time. Ronnie, his training style was very heavy, pretty high volume, I would say. I don't think I would be a good training partner for Ronnie, just because I think you need to be pretty close. You needed to be pretty close to his level strength-wise to be his training partner. And I say that because if you watch the videos, his training partners are doing things like hand off 200-pound dumbbells to him. So can you imagine doing that a few times a week? Holding up his lighter sets of dumbbells are probably 150. So you're handing in pairs of 150s, 160s, 170s, all the way up to 200s. Wow, that's a big workout. And I wouldn't be anywhere near what he was doing on his squats, deadlifts, anywhere near all the weights he was doing on his barbell. So it wouldn't have worked out, I'm sure. I'm sure Ronnie would agree. Dorian Yates, and philosophically, I loved his training style, just beating the hell out of the muscle as quickly as possible. Our leg workout, he trained with me, but he wasn't doing much. At that point, Dorian was already long retired and not trying to be big at all anymore. Still very impressive physical specimen, regardless, even at that time. But I enjoy training too much to be done with it in like 35 minutes all the time and then get the hell out of there. And only hitting body parts once a week and only training with weights 4 times a week, which was Dorian's style. That's what he did. And I want to say for a minute that these different training styles that these Mr. Olympias had, they all worked very, very well for that person. So you can't say Ronnie's style was better than Dorian's style was better than Ronnie's, Arnold's style was better. You can't say that any one Mr. Olympia's training style was best, because whatever that particular Mr. Olympia champion did, it worked very, very well. They were the best. It helped them become the greatest bodybuilder in the world and beat everybody else. So there goes that argument. But I love training too much. So for me to just go in there, and it's not so much the intensity of the pain. I can take all that, and I did. Don't get me wrong, it was rough. That Dorian, the leg workout that I did with Dorian, which was really more like Dorian putting me through a leg workout, like I said, he wasn't really doing a whole lot. It was rough. It was rough Took everything inside me to finish it, and you know, I didn't throw up or anything, but I was beat up. I was beat up bad, and my legs were sore for about a week. The last guy, last Mr. Olympia I had a chance to train with was Jay Cutler. It was the day after he had promoted one of his shows here. It was either Cutler Classic, I think it was in New England, because he promotes 2 shows every year in Boston with Steve Weinberger. So we did back, and Jay wasn't doing much. Jay was had I think he had just done the Olympia. He had done the Olympia like 6 or 8 weeks before that, so he was kind of taking some time where he wasn't training as seriously or as hard, probably not eating as much. Still, don't get me wrong, he was enormous and he was still very strong. But I would say that Jay's training style, you know, from everything I've seen, I've interviewed him many times and I've watched all his videos. Jay's style of training is probably the most compatible with what I enjoy the most, with what I like to do. So if I could pick any one of those 3 men, and I know I haven't trained with as many Mr. Olympias as some people out there. There are some people I bet have trained with like 10 or more Mr. Olympias. But I would probably pick Jay Cutler. That's someone I think I would get along with well as a training partner. We have similar styles of training. He would go heavy, but not crazy heavy just for the sake of going heavy. He used good form, but it wasn't perfect form. He knew when to loosen up the form a little bit to actually make the exercises more efficient for him, which sounds crazy, but that's, if you watch his videos and everything, you'll understand what I mean by that. I did get to train with one other Olympia champion. The 212 Olympia champion, 7 times over, was Flex Lewis. Shoulder workout back in, oh boy, 2012 it was. Very, very strong, trains very, very hard, good amount of volume. You know, if I was younger and healthy, I think I would enjoy training with him too. But out of those 3 gentlemen, all great Olympia champions, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates, Jay Cutler, I would probably say Jay Cutler is somebody I would wish I could have trained with consistently if I had that choice, which, you know, it's all theoretical. So that's been my little take on that. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the questions. Please keep them coming in, and I'll talk to you guys later.